Hey everybody, I'm Gretchen.
I'm Aaron.
We're a couple, and we've been posting for several months now about Aaron's journey with cancer, and we just received so much positivity and people checking in on you and really interested in the story. So we thought we'd just move this over to a YouTube channel.
Yeah, we've really felt a lot of love. We've had a lot of questions on different treatments and things that I'm using. Some of them great, some of them not. The side effects and things that are going well. We even share the things that aren't, like my face.
So, in case you don't know, who the hell are these folks? In case you don't know the story, I had cancer a few years ago. We actually had cancer at the same time, but we weren't connected then.
Right.
So just give a little background on what happened your first go around and where we are now.
So 2021, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. I had surgery, and they removed the mass, and then I did 9 rounds of chemo, which my body wasn't responding to anymore. The cancer kept getting worse, and so I actually beat it with supplements and a resonant light frequency machine, sound frequency. Unfortunately, this year, 2025, it came back. And when it did, it came back so bad that I really couldn't even function. I couldn't digest. I couldn't pass anything. It got really ugly really quick. And so together we're going through this. And
so background on Aaron, and the reason why, not the reason why, but one of the interesting things about Aaron is his profession. First time around. So, Aaron, tell them what you do, and because I don't want to tell the story wrong, but the reason why this is so important to a lot of people is because of what Aaron does for a living, and he's not a stripper, so don't go there.
Well, a buck's a buck, but no, I used to be a professional race car driver, and after having a couple of sponsorship failures, I stepped away. And got involved with some technology that is amazing in the emission control sector, which I knew would lead me back into the racing. And after having been diagnosed with cancer, I knew that I really wanted to revive the Fuel for the Fight campaign, which I ran clear back in 2005 when my grandmother passed away from breast cancer. And I was lucky enough the end of last year to get back in the race car for just a 3-race stint and run the Fuel for the Fight campaign with the McPhillips family racing. It was an amazing experience, and it's really come to mean even that much more to me. And so I'm really looking forward to, hopefully in the near future, being able to beat this well enough to where I can get back in the car and we can run a full campaign and really feature every cancer and just help as many people as we can, whether it be with their own journey, treatment options, or just having some positive messages to send along the way each week, each race, because mindset is so much of this thing.
So when Aaron and I, we've known each other for a long time, we decide 15 years, something like that. I knew of him. We had lost connection, for several years. I've been a single mom forever. You've been a single dad forever. And I was on the board of the Utah chapter for the American Cancer Society, and we were having a big gala last year, or gala. Is it gala or gala? Probably gala. What do you think?
It's gala.
It's gala?
No. I think it depends on where you're at in the country.
Well, I'm from Texas, so I just blame everything on the accent. Anyway, I was like, I know this race car driver, and if he's still racing, maybe he could put together a package for the live auction that we were looking for some stuff on. So I called Aaron up, and I didn't know, like, does he have the same number? I don't know anything about this guy. And he answered, and that's kind of when we, like, changed and swapped stories. Like, I didn't know you had cancer. I didn't know you had cancer. And so he brought me down to the center where sound frequency, they have a lot of machines and stuff. And it was really interesting to me because I did the traditional route. I did chemo and radiation, had surgery. As soon as I healed from that, went right into chemo. Was denied, I believe, 7 times because my white blood count was never high enough to receive more. So I only ended up having 3 rounds, which wasn't the ideal thing, and then went right into radiation. And so I had all the ramifications of going through it the traditional way, whereas Aaron decided to, like, kind of take the reins himself and find sound frequency, which worked for him. And so when we talk about a new way of treating cancer, we're basically saying, like, you don't have to fall into just the regimen of maybe what your oncologist says. Maybe you do that and you do other things, which is what Aaron's protocol is now. You're still doing Western medicine, but we're also treating it with other options. And we're certainly not the type that are going to chastise, any idea or anything like that. We just know what we're going through, what I went through, what Aaron's trying now, simply because I think the biggest thing we've learned through this second round with you is that you have to be your own advocate and you have to kind of do your own homework, because most of the time your oncologist it's not their job to present everything that's available in the world. Their job is to, like, get it in, get it out, get it in, get it out, And so when January came last year, when this cancer came back, it was kind of angry. It was a time that was kind of the beginning of your being sick.
Right.
Yeah,
it came on really quick. And I was just, for instance, when I was in the race car in November of last year, I was 195 pounds. I was in good shape. By midsummer, I was 149 pounds, excuse me. Mm-hmm. So, 40, 50 pounds down, and just really struggling to function every day. And you bring up the advocating for yourself. We've found so many times things that did not get completed that we really both feel like if those things would have been done, if there would have been scans along the way, that we could have gotten
kind of
treatment.
A hold of it, yeah.
Right, much earlier. Mm-hmm. And whether sound frequency would have been the right choice at that point, we don't know, because we didn't get a hold of it quick enough. Yeah. So now, it's like we feel like we're throwing bombs at it, everything. The reason I bring up my face is because what I'm doing right now is not only sound frequency, but a whole lot of other, should we say?
23 total pills. And they're not all prescription, but still, like, last week, it's almost like, here's your meal, Aaron.
Right.
Here's your meal of pills that you need to take. And honestly, honey, the majority of them were like suggestions from, try soursop, try curcumin, try turmeric. And we were just inundating you with a lot of really good things.
Fendibezinol, we hear it all, and we've tried a lot of it, and we do a lot of it still. What has affected me now is I'm on a immunotherapy where I do infusion every 2 weeks, along with a pill form, and a lot of the side effects are the same as chemo. Mm. So I've got really bad acne, I've got a swollen face, I've got joint pain, I've got all those things.
But that means what?
And they keep telling us the worse it is, the better it's working. So
yeah. It's a side effect of the drug, which means that drug is actually attacking the mass, the cells, everything that it's supposed to be doing.
Sure.
So, it's easy for me to be like, no, honey, that's a good thing, but I'm not experiencing the pain. However, I do know what a lot of this feels like. I've been there. So what we want to do with our YouTube is really just we're not trying to create a reality show here. We just want to share what is going on a day-to-day thing. What's kind of happened in the past. Aaron will shoot a video, he'll post it, and then people think like, oh, you're great, you're good. I see that you're out at your daughter's race because his daughter races too, or I see that you're outside. That must mean you're all better. That's not how cancer works. You have good days, you have bad days, but what we want to share is the mindset, not just the everyday care. Here's what I ate. Here's what the supplements. It's how do you get through? How do you get through something? Develop your faith of whatever that is, and still have hope, and still have dreams, and still put yourself in a situation where you're like, just because I have the C word doesn't mean that's my life sentence. That's the end.
Wait, the C word. Oh,
not
cancer.
That C word. See, you know what?
But to your point, and one thing we want, I think a big message that we want to share is it's okay to have questions. If you get diagnosed with something like this or any other disease, ailment, whatever, it's okay to ask questions, and it's okay to really be outspoken and advocate for yourself, because there have been so many times since June, really, that I feel like if we didn't do homework on our own and reach out to some other doctors, I don't think I'd be alive.
One of the things that Aaron's really in tune, like he's really in tune to his body, and what not only what you're feeling, but like what your gut says. And this summer, there were some things going on that both of us were like, this isn't settling right. Like, we're not satisfied with, this is just part of cancer, because at that point there had not been scans. Like, there had not been any concrete evidence that this is what's happening in your body. And we got to the place where we were like, we're going to the ER, like something's not right. And because of that, they did a CT scan. They saw, the size of Aaron's mass right now is basically his whole pelvic area. And it had grown since last January from a much smaller size, and then it grew to that. Even though it's not considered like an aggressively fast-growing cancer, it's just that space. There's nowhere else for it to go because it's covering everything, which made all of his digestion like really a problem, really painful, really. And we didn't know what was going on. Like, we literally did not know one thing that was happening. And I think looking back, if you're going through something, even if it's not cancer, you're going through something and you're feeling like something's not right, stand up for yourself.
Sure.
Make it a point. Ask for scans, ask for testing, ask for lab work, whatever it is. Just like, don't let it go, because I feel like you said, if we had listened and paid attention right off the bat, we may not be where we are right now.
I totally agree with that. And unfortunately, the oncologist, while there's been so many good things with him, there's also been let's wait and see. And
which, by the way, what does that mean?
Right.
It's like when you're diagnosed with something. Oh, there's a bunch of birds up there. When you're diagnosed with something, I don't love. We always like, what? When somebody's like, let's just wait and let's just watch it. How are you watching it?
Well, for instance, we were told in January that it was necrotic fluid left over from the surgery from like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And by the time we actually found out what it was, after it was causing so much pain and after I'd lost 40 pounds, we find out that it's this mass that's twice the size of my bladder, and it's got a crust around it so hard that they couldn't surgically remove it.
Yeah. So that's where we're saying if we had known, oh my gosh, Aaron, I know one of them's going to shit on us. I just know. No, I'm not going to say that.
An umbrella.
There's like a cajillion seagulls right above us. But you know what? We also look at everything and like there are no mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Even though we have said this, we can also see the path of where we are now, what's happened with us as a couple, just kind of God's hand in everything. And so if you feel like maybe you've missed your timing, you probably haven't. There's perfect timing every day. And that's kind of where we want to share. I just love, it's not my quote, it's from a song, but it's joy in chaos. Chaos can be a lot of things in life. And in the situation with Aaron's health, I mean, there's a lot going on that you kind of have to talk yourself into feeling good every day. You don't just wake up and, like, oh, okay, I feel great, let's go. It's kind of like we plan out, what are we going to do today based on how he's feeling. And as a caretaker, there's, you have to be really aware of like, okay, this is where I'm reading the room today is. Today, he's feeling X, Y, and Z. But I also look around at life and I look at people and I just think, I'm sure, because I was this way, I'm sure that people take advantage of good health and what your body can do and things you're able to do.
Sure.
And go and, eat or whatever it is. And I watch people and I just think, we're going to be there. We're going to be there again.
Well, even myself, going through cancer the first time and beating it, I think I took it for granted a bit. I blew through it and I almost felt indestructible, even though I knew there was always this chance. But another thing we'll talk about through this whole thing is everybody, I hear so often, you're the most strong mental person. You are the strongest person we know. Well, even I've had the moments, particularly in the hospital, this last time around, where I didn't know if I was going to make it out of the hospital, didn't know if I wanted to make it out of the hospital because the pain was so bad. I just wanted to be out of pain, and if it meant that I, didn't make it, then so be it. And it's okay to talk about those things, and figure out how to get through. That's the most important thing is to get through that moment. And quite frankly, if it wasn't for Gretchen, if it wasn't for my daughter and family and some people that are close to me, giving me a little bit of encouragement, it was just those little moments that I had to get through.
Let's be honest, honey, it was a big moment when I realized that Aaron was literally looking at a door in heaven. Should I stay or should I go? And I realized at the moment, because he kept talking about this door, and all of a sudden I was like, don't go through the door. Stay away from the door. Stay away from the door. And I realized it was death. And in my mind at that moment, I was like, I'm going to be really selfish right now. And I know you're in pain. In my head, I'm thinking, I know you're in pain, but no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for you to go. And, I think as you're going through, or you have family members or friends or whoever going through something, it's okay to have moments. Don't stay in them, but it's totally okay to have moments where you're just done. You just don't, you don't want to do this anymore. And I found in my own situations, and I know I've seen it with Aaron, that's when the Lord comes in and he lifts you. He just does, when you're at the place that you're like, I don't know where my strength is right now, because I don't even want to find it. I don't even want to look for it. And, the part of this, the reason why we're doing this is not just for those that are maybe having cancer, but for those family members or friends that are watching it happen and going through it with them, because now I'm full circle. I've had it. I'm in remission, but now I'm the caretaker of the most wonderful thing that's happened. I love my children, and that's a different wonderful, so don't hate at me for that. But that I just want to help those that are caretakers to know, like, here's how we're doing it. We don't necessarily have the best answer for everything. I don't even know that we have the right answer, but we're doing it.
We are. And to echo what you're saying, that's become a huge thing. A part of this Fuel for the Fight campaign is how can we help the caretakers? Because, quite frankly, as a cancer patient, as a patient of any type of ailment that you may be going through, there's days that I'll look at Gretchen and just say, I'm so sorry, I'm being a jerk, and I don't even know why. Actually, I say I'm a dick. But sometimes I'm so grateful to her because I don't even know why I struggle the way I do, but it just comes in the way of, I really feel like shit, and I'm so sorry because this is where we're at today.
Yeah.
And
okay, YouTube's going to cut us off because we're at the 20-minute mark. But so we're just giving you a little heads up.
And it's raining on us.
He's going to mess up his hairdo. We are just going to be popping in and out. Sometimes it's going to be formal, and we're setting the camera up, and sometimes it's here's his whole pill regime, or tomorrow we do infusion. We'll let you know how that's going, but. It's just that we're doing this because we've had so many people that are caring and loving and want to know how he's doing that we thought we would just kind of concise it and make it kind of bring you into our life of what we're doing. And again, we're not trying to be some reality star. We're just sharing what's real with us. So anyway, we love you guys. Thank you so much for all your support, and we'll be back.
Have a good day.